Welcome back, everyone. This is another installment of our Stop Throwing Interceptions series, where we break down decision-making from a quarterback's perspective. The goal here is simple: understanding why turnovers happen and how to avoid them. Every interception tells a story, and by analyzing these plays, we can refine our approach and improve efficiency in the passing game. Alright, let's jump into a game from Week 4 featuring the Vipers and the Beavers. We'll watch the play first and then break it down step by step. So let's see what happened here. Okay, that's an interception. Exactly what we're trying to eliminate. So what went wrong? More importantly, how could we have prevented it? This one stings even more because it happened near the end zone, one of the worst places to turn the ball over. Let's start from the pre-snap read. When you approach the line, the first thing you should be doing is assessing the defense, checking the number of safeties, identifying blitzers, and understanding the coverage shell. Here we've got a bunch formation to the right, 3 receivers stacked. The defense has a blitzer 7 yards back, a safety at 10 yards, and the rest positioned in front of the center. There's also a cornerback lined up outside the center. Now, as the play develops, my route concept sends the center on an out route to the right, the slot receiver on a deep post, and the outside receiver on a go route. Meanwhile, the backside receiver is running an out route to the left. So, we've got a combination of vertical and underneath concepts, which should give us options. But here's where the problem starts. Instead of reading the defense, I locked in on one receiver, the crossing route. And this is something quarterbacks fall into way too often. We anticipate the big play. We convince ourselves that this route will be open. We think, I see one-on-one coverage, I'm taking my shot. But the issue is, I never truly went through my progressions. I assumed the receiver would be open rather than confirming it. If I had scanned the defense properly, I would have noticed a defender already sitting in that area, plus another defender reading my eyes, waiting to jump the throw. Essentially, I threw into a trap. This is why progressions matter. You can't pre-decide where the ball is going before the play even unfolds. Your reads have to be fluid. A proper read goes from inside to outside, short to deep. The first thing I should have seen was my center sitting wide open in the middle of the field. That should have been my immediate throw. Instead, I forced the ball into triple coverage, completely overlooking the easiest completion. This play highlights a crucial lesson. Reading the defense isn't just about identifying coverage before the snap. It's about continuing to process information as the play develops. It's about recognizing voids in the defense and taking what's given, rather than forcing something that isn't there. Bottom line, trust your progressions. Read inside out. Start with your short routes, work your way deep, and don't get tunnel vision on a single receiver. Had I done that here, we would have had a simple completion, kept the drive alive, and avoided a costly turnover. That's it for this breakdown. Keep working, keep learning, and most importantly, stop throwing interceptions. Diving into a play from Week 5. Let's take a look at the footage first and then we'll break it down. Alright, so you might be thinking, maybe there was a tight window I could have squeezed something into. Maybe I could have tried to fit a throw on the outside. But let's focus on the bigger picture. The entire purpose of these videos is to stop throwing interceptions. We need to stop turning the ball over and start giving our teams the best chance to win. When you throw a pick, you're immediately putting your defense in a bad position, forcing them to recover from a costly mistake. Now let's talk about this specific play. Simply put, this was a throwaway situation. We're getting close to that 7-second mark. Nobody is open. At this point, I know exactly what quarterbacks feel in these moments. Pressure building, anxiety creeping in, thinking I have to get rid of this ball. The internal clock is ticking, and it's easy to feel rushed into making a risky decision. But here's the good news. In flag football, this isn't a sack. It's not a turnover. You live to play another down. That's why the best decision in this situation was to get rid of the ball, throw it out of bounds, throw it into the dirt, reset, and get ready for the next play. Now let's address another common issue. You might have receivers with their hands up, yelling that they're open. But in most cases, when you really break down the coverage, they're not. I'm not saying there was no possible throw, but why take the unnecessary risk? If I remember correctly, this was a tie game at the time, and we had already turned the ball over earlier. There was no reason to force something here. We still had 3 more downs to execute a better play. Looking at the field, my receivers were working to get open, but the defense had them locked up. There was no blitz pressure, so I had all the time in the world, but the coverage was solid. Even a short throw across my body would have been a mistake. In previous videos, I've warned against this. Throwing back across the field is one of the easiest ways to give defenders an interception. The angles favor the defense. If I had forced a pass to the right while rolling left, defenders would have had a much shorter angle to cut in and make a play on the ball. That's why, in this moment, you saw me throw my hands up in frustration. I needed receivers to come to my side, to move with me instead of staying put on the right. But because that didn't happen, I made the safest play possible. I did not throw across my body, I did not force the ball into coverage, and I did not give the defense a free possession. We saw something similar in the last video. The Ninjas made a risky throw across the body and got lucky with the result. Look, we all need luck sometimes. But in a close game against a tough opponent, when every possession matters, you cannot rely on luck. You have to play smart football. So the takeaway here, if nothing is open, don't force it. Just throw it in the dirt. Move on to the next play and give your team another chance to execute properly. That's how you stop throwing interceptions and start winning games. Alright, let's take a look at one more play. And of course, the big focus is how to avoid throwing interceptions. We're going to break it down step by step and highlight what should have been done differently in this situation. So, looking at the defense here, we can see they're in a 2-2 setup, 2 deep safeties and 2 short cornerbacks. On top of that, they've got a blitzer coming in hot. Now, this tells us a few things right away. The safeties are playing deep, meaning they're trying to protect against big plays over the top. The corners are sitting short, possibly looking to jump quick routes or play underneath zones. And that blitzer? That means as a quarterback, I don't have all day to sit back and scan the field. The clock is ticking and I need to get the ball out quickly. Now let's roll the play and break it down. Right away there's an issue. My slot receiver is jogging off the line. You see him right there? He's not firing off at full speed. Maybe he's trying to set something up, planning a delayed burst, but by the time he actually accelerates, I already have pressure in my face. And in flag football, timing is everything. Every second matters. If a route takes too long to develop, it can completely throw off the play. That's exactly what's happening here. Now let's talk about the route concept. We've got 2 crossing routes happening, and here's the frustrating part, they actually come open. You can see the receiver raising his hand calling for the ball, but by the time he does that, I'm already under pressure. I don't have my feet set and I can't make a clean throw. This is why timing and route discipline are so critical. The routes need to develop before the pressure gets to me, not after. Now here's where the real mistake happens. At this point, I'm just trying to escape the rush. I barely avoid the blitzer, and honestly, I might have even gotten called for flag guarding there. But now I'm completely off balance, throwing off my back foot. And right here, instead of making the smart decision and throwing it away, I try to force it. The receiver is calling for the ball, but my body position is terrible. I have no control over this throw, yet I still let it go into no man's land. And let's be real, none of us are Patrick Mahomes out here. I'm not making some off-balance, crossbody, sidearm throw for a touchdown. This is just a bad decision. Now let's talk about the worst-case scenario. If the safety doesn't just fall on this ball, if he actually attacks it in the air and catches it clean, there is nobody left behind him. That's an automatic pick six. This is where game awareness comes in. As 4th down, I get it. You want to make a play. But the reality is you're beat. And when you're beat, there's no magic fix. Sometimes, the best play you can make is just accepting the turnover on downs. If I take the sack, we turn the ball over, and the other team starts there at the start of their end zone. But if I throw an interception, now they have the chance to take it all the way back for a touchdown. That's the difference. This is something I always tell quarterbacks, especially when you start playing internationally. These players have been training at a high level for years, and they will punish these mistakes. You can't give them opportunities like this. If you're in a bad position, take your loss and live to fight another drive. So, 2 big takeaways here. First, timing matters. If your receivers aren't getting off the line fast enough, the whole play falls apart before it even starts. And second, be smart on 4th down. If the play isn't there, don't force it. Just throw it away and move on. That's how you eliminate unnecessary interceptions. Alright, let's wrap this up. Playing quarterback in flag football isn't just about having a cannon for an arm or making flashy throws. It's about being smart. It's about timing, decision-making, and knowing when to cut your losses. Today we saw how little things, like a slow release, pocket pressure, or forcing a bad throw, can totally change the game. Here's the big takeaway. Not every play has to be a highlight reel moment. Sometimes, the best move is throwing the ball away, especially on 4th down. If the play isn't there, live to fight another possession instead of handing the defense an easy score. And for receivers, urgency off the line is key. The faster you get into your route, the better chance your QB has to find you. Whether you're playing in a rec league, a competitive tournament, or even aiming for the international stage, these small details make a huge difference. Play smart, trust your timing, and don't force what isn't there. If this breakdown helped you out, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what plays or topics you want me to break down next. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep grinding and keep getting better. Catch you later.